baby, you can free my mind and nothing's gonna take control. I need something that I could never find, boy, you got it and it ain't for sure. Hey, oh baby, won't you take my hand and never ever let me go? But it's time for us to take our stand, show the world that we're a miracle. That's all I wanted from you, a little more attitude. Oh, how can I refuse? 'Cause you're the one that I choose. 'Cause all I wanted from you was for our love to come through. There's nothing else I can do.
number 3. Coming to the line. Who's going to get it done? Green flag, we're racing.
Get your foot in. 3 wide. He got it. He's got it. He's got it.
Get there. No.
Kansas is going to win.
Wow.
You are looking live at the virtual Kansas Speedway from Kansas City, Kansas. This is the Core Summer Series presented by SimWrapMarket.com. Tonight, it's the Richmar Florist 150. My name is Cisco Scaramuza, along with me, Caleb Hoffman. And, well, Caleb, I'm not Blake McCandless because Blake decided to go have a social life and go be cool and hang out with his friends. And apparently now, I guess, go to the hospital. So Blake's having a fun night. But nonetheless, we're here tonight at Kansas. And, well, this is a track that I think a lot of iRacers really enjoy. I'd say more so than maybe the general NASCAR community, because this track has just grown such a following here on iRacing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did just want to open up the show with Kevin McAdams was released, checked in release from the Care Center earlier. So thoughts are with him. But no, yeah, this is going to be a super fun race here with the street stocks. All week, I mean, we've had our fair share of road courses mixed in. We had our short tracks, but this is really more similar to what we saw with Charlotte, except I feel like we're going to be able to pass a lot better. That outside lane should be working a lot better. So I'm really looking forward to what these street stocks have in store for us here tonight.
This track is known for being able to run the top side when it comes to the higher horsepower cars. We'll have to see how it comes down with these street stocks. But getting ready to kick it off here with our first grid for our heat number 1. Of course, the Messer Media proudly presents and proudly sponsors the Core Summer Series Pole Award. The Messer Media Pole Award is presented to the driver who starts first in each race, and today that's Justin Champagne in heat number 1. Gabe Wood second, Jonathan Cadell third, Wes Graham fourth, Herman Reese is in fifth, Michael P. Frisch sixth, Cody Hicken, Corey Vervinkt, and Travis Brown make up your field. Not everybody's here, but we'll figure it out. Pace truck's in, and they're in the restart zone. Green flags in the air. Here we go. Good jump on the outside from Gabe, really sticking it to Champagne as they head to turn number 1. They're going to be about even up as they come through 1 and 2, but on the inside, Champagne's going to get a little bit of a run. As they come out of turn number 2, it's going to be neck and neck. Gabe not getting a whole lot of help on the top side, and it's all Jonathan Cadell right down the back bumper of Justin Champagne.
Yeah, we do have a little bit of triple stack going on down there on the inside. Champagne getting a huge shove from Steel Horse. Wes Graham actually getting a little bit sideways as he tried to get to the back bumper of Gabe Wood as they come off turn number 4. Gabe Wood doing such a good job to hang right on that outside quarter panel. Looks like they're going to be 3 wide for the lead here on lap 1.
And starting early already, you can see Cadell wavering a little bit down on the bottom side. And Champagne, well, he's got no help right now, so we'll have to see if Herman can get up to him and maybe give him a little bit of a push. But Cadell run in the middle, and you'd think with Wes helping him out, Gabe just not able to get anything. The side draft from the 69, Cadell really trying to make that corner work, but here, choo-choo train up at the top side, Gabe and Wes trying to make it work.
Yeah, good push delivered from the 88 to the 04. Killed Wes Graham's momentum. He'll have to get back to this back bumper as they're still 3 wide, and I've been really impressed at how they're able to hold this formation as Gabe Wood makes contact with Cadell. Still 3 wide as they come across the line. Here comes Cody Hicken. They're going to be 3 wide for second.
And Caleb, I really didn't want you to jinx it there, but it looked like you almost did, nearly coming together on the front stretch there. Cadell by just a little bit of a bumper seat coming together again, coming off turn number 2 and managing to hold on to it so far. And now the outside lane starts to hook up. Wes trying desperately to get Gabe in front, but he's not clear. Into turn 3 we go.
And really similar to what we were expecting so far at Charlotte, there was a big gridlock effect and you couldn't really advance your position at all. But here it looks like we do have some options if you can figure it out. Oh, Herman Reese makes contact with Gabe Wood. They're going to figure it out, though. Steel Horse still in the middle here. Again, I'm so impressed at how these guys have been able to do this. Reese not being able to hold the middle right now as Cody Hickens down there almost made contact with the inside quarter panel. We're on board right now with Wes Graham. You can see him with the VR headset. He's got a heck of a view right now at these 3 cars 3 wide ahead of him as they go into turn number 3. And really got a 6-pack up here battling for the top 2 spots.
And that VR headset is going to help Wes a little bit, I think, visualize everything around him. And, you know, he hasn't been able to keep that run on the top side. But I think, ooh, we're 4 wide now. More contact between the Alpha Prime boys. And Herman Reese, I think at this point, if he doesn't wreck Gabe, he's going to... Oh, my gosh.
Almost about wrecked it there. Champagne, Cody Hicken, and Herman Reese almost came together, but somehow Champagne launches out of a cannon because of it, gets back side by side with Cadell, and now Reese almost spins the 38 of Champagne again, and now he's going to make contact with Wes Graham up to the outside. That's going to kill that outside lane's momentum as we're coming to halfway here in heat number 1. It's been a crazy one so far as they cross the stripe here.
On board with Corey Vervinkt here, and I can tell, yep, there it goes. Herman Reese, little bit of contact there. That's going to be the 28 of Cody Hicken. He's going to get spit out of line, but 5 cars survive as we continue. Just got a little bit loose in the corner there. We continue on with this heat. Of course, no cautions here in the heat. As side by side, it continues for that 4th position. You see them go, but now they're going to pack up once again. Gabe going to go with the 38 of Champagne, Jonathan Cadell, rather. He's got no friends on the top side unless Wes can get to him.
I don't know what kind of voodoo Justin Champagne has on his side, but he got the lead out of all that. So Gabe Wood is hooked up to the back bumper now of the 38 as Cadell, without any help, has to wait for this 88 of Wes Graham to get behind him. Corey Vervinkt down on the inside, coming off a really good run at Watkins Glen last week where he showed some muscle as they almost make contact there for the 3rd position. But Vervinkt should get by with the momentum from Gabe Wood pulling him along down on the inside as they come off at turn number 2. Can Wes Graham get a shove to Steel Horse here?
Got to give a little bit of a call to Corey Vervinkt right in the middle of a move right now. He's been moving boxes. He cleaned out his cube. He's heading back home to Indiana, and I'm wishing him well on that transit. But tonight, still had enough time to hop in the sim rig, throw on the get up, and get some racing in. So, you know, all the best to Corey on this move, moving from Massachusetts back to Indiana. He's joining the support side of iRacing. So a little bit of inter-departmental rivalry going on there, but side by side for the lead now is Gabe going to try and hang tough on the outside. He's been rivaling Champagne this entire heat, and he's going to try to get up there.
Yeah, and I mean, really, our top 3 this entire race have been Gabe Wood, Justin Champagne, and Jonathan Cadell in some order or another. Cadell was trying to split the middle there and go. Gabe Wood was leaving that inside open once again. That's exactly how we got into that initial scenario, but just not enough room, and Cadell has to get out of the throttle. He'll drop back in line behind Vervinkt now, coming to 2 laps to go at the stripe. Still, Champagne and Gabe Wood side by side. Can anyone get past these 2 to try to get a dub in heat number 1?
This looks to me like Cadell. Oh, Cadell, a little bit maybe contact with Corey. That sends him way up the racetrack. But it looked like Cadell was almost trying a little bit to try and find lines and find a little bit of speed to get that car a little bit further towards the front. Champagne, meanwhile, sidedraft.com and a little bit of contact into Gabe back into turns 3 and 4. Gabe hanging tough, and he needs Cadell to go with him as he is any shot to try and get this at the line. But it looks like if you roll the top here, Caleb, keep in mind, 1 lap to go. I think the top line's where you're going to want to be.
We'll find out. Coming down into turn number 1 for the final time in heat number 1. Speeds of almost 150 miles per hour. Little bit of a checkup. They're coming down the backstretch now. Champagne on the inside. Oh, a little bit of contact between Gabe Wood as he got a shove from Jonathan Cadell. Now they bump big. Champagne down the track. Does that open the door for Cadell into 3 for the final time?
It sure does. Cadell's going to force his way 3 wide into turns 3 and 4 for the final time in heat number 1 here from Kansas. Cadell side slamming Champagne. Corey looks to the inside. Who's going to get there first? Looking to the outside.
I think it was Champagne. I think so. They were 5 wide coming to the start-finish line. And Champagne gets it. It looked like he was going to be done there at the very beginning, but what a run to the finish there.
17 100ths of a second he beat Gabe there. It was a 3-way fight to the finish. What a heck of a way to start us off here with heat number 1. We talked about it, Caleb, that we knew this was going to be a draft track like what we saw at Charlotte, and, well, it paid off right there. Awesome race in that first heat there. But in the meantime, of course, I do want to run us through and thank everybody who helps make this broadcast possible. Of course, tonight is the Rich Mar Florist 150. And, of course, want to give them thanks for helping us out here on the broadcast. Of course, we want to thank all our partners, FTF_GG, Messer Media, Gabe Wood. Hey, he paid for this. Rich Mar Florist again, and of course, simwrapmarket.com. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to take one look at the replay here on the run to the finish here. Take a look, and you can see Cadell's sitting right on the outside, and he's pushing Gabe, and those two start to make contact. And knowing Cadell, he saw the gap, and he's going to go for it. Shoves his Casino right between those two cars, side by side, coming through 3 and 4, and then it's just a momentum race, and whoever was able to hold on, you can see Corey trying to make it work in that Panther on the bottom, but just at the line, Champagne just nearly edges it out in the Eagle to be able to make that happen. So great race there as we head off and get ready for heat number 2. Hopefully this one turns out to be just as good. Starting out on pole is going to be Justin Malillo in that 53 car. Hey, Justin was able to make it here tonight. We weren't quite positive he was going to be able to make it, but they did let his RV into the racetrack in time. Fly Guy going to run second there. He was top of the practice charts. Keep an eye on that 773 car. DT Drive Through Davin is going to start third. Garrett Smithley going to start fourth. Gary Owen going to be starting fifth. Robert Dorman going to start sixth. Seventh, Case Collenbach. And then rounding out your field there is Ryan Vargas. I'm just here to get my points because, well, I wanted start part points. Thank you, Blake.
Yeah, it took you out of the championship fight. Here,
look, I told Buick that I was going to be running as many races as I could, and I can't really go back to them and say, hey, I had to go fill in. So I did ask the officials, and they're going to give me last place points at least. But Pace Truck going to head in this time. Field in command of Barney the Flagman. And right on your front row, just below that blue 53, Fly Guy, the red 773. Green flags in the air. Let's go racing.
Good launch here from Fly Guy. He and Garrett Smithley on the outside trying to get hooked up early here. And we saw that outside lane was viable, but even more viable, I think, is if you can get in that middle spot between the 53 and the 773. So Garrett Smithley going to be all over the back bumper here to try to make that happen as they come off turn 2 for the first time here in heat number 2. But just got to get up to speed now through the gears. Should be at top speed now as they enter into turn 3. Oh, 3 wide a little further behind as Vargas is going to try out this high side, Cisco.
Vargas is going to be able to make the pass, actually, on a couple of those Alpha Prime boys. Dorman and Case going slided to the back early, but here we go. Contact.
Oh!
He thought he was clear. He was not. Garrett Smithley, Fly Guy, and now Robert Dorman goes spinning. So 3 cars in the back go all spinning. And just like that, our main pack jumbles up. And take a look who's leading. I'm guessing it's rigged because that's DT at the front.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always a crazy one and a calm one. Last one was a crazy one, and this one looks like it's going to be a crazy one as well. Look at Ryan Vargas, though, starting from last place, and he's already up challenging for the lead at the end of lap number 2. Justin Malillo with a big shot to the back end of the number 77. He'll have to suck back up here on the front stretch, but Ryan Vargas going to try to side draft him as well. And now, oh, look at Justin going 3 wide as they get to the stripe, just like in heat number 1. We have 3 abreast for the lead as Goins giving a big shove to the back end of Ryan Vargas as they go into 1.
I talked to him a little bit before the race here, and he said he was not happy with his finishing positions thus far this season. And I think he wants to put a little bit of a claim in the bucket and try and make tonight a good one. So Malillo not making any friends tonight. I don't think he cares. I think he just wants a win after everything that he's been dealing with on his sim racing side lately. So I think Malillo just going for broke because he's going to get a little bit tight. Vargas, though, you talked about, he's ripping that top side. And I think that helped him miss the wreck more than get a run. But he's got a run right now, courtesy of that Raptor 24, Gary Owen.
Oh, and Malillo getting tight, pushing up this racetrack a little bit into Ryan Vargas. Going to have to be careful there. Vargas is going to have to lift, but he has Going right behind him. That can get tricky really quickly with these street stocks. DT has been able to hold his own on the bottom here, and it should be even better when Case Collenbach gets sucked up to the back end of the 77. It's just a little difficult right now to keep an organized run here on the inside lane. Everybody's been wanting to get that momentum up on the high side where the progressive banking's at.
And it looks to be paying
Malillo
off.
really pushing Vargas to racetrack here.
Yeah, I think that progressive banking you talked about really helps kind of about halfway down the straightaway, but you can see how much DT can roll the bottom there. Is Malillo going to get tight again? And I have to think that's the right rear maybe starting to go a little bit on these cars, Caleb?
Yeah, I mean, we saw even last week at Watkins Glen, it was only 1 or 2 laps really before we started to see some effect of the tire wear, and it's so evident with these street stocks because the weather. I mean, look at the track temp right now, 125 degrees, and I mean, it's just absolutely scorching. So these tires are screaming at speeds of almost 150 mile per hour at the end of the straightaway, trying to make it stick in these corners lap after lap, especially when you're going 3-4 wide even. So we'll see here, but DT, Melillo, and Vargas doing what we saw in heat number 1 with Gabe Wood, Champagne, and oh man, Cadell, as Vargas looks like he's gonna drop in line here.
Brian Vargas thought he could take more than I think he had. Somehow they managed to hold on to it, but I think Vargas thought he was going to try the cross from the top to the bottom. He gets there eventually, but he almost took a couple cars with him. And Gary Owen, as you ride on board right now, would have had a front seat and a windshield full of that 23 car if he hadn't pulled that off. But now they're 3 wide, once again going for the lead. Down on the bottom, drive through Davin. Middle, Vargas, top, Melillo, but not really. I think Vargas thought they were a little more middle than Justin did. Justin tries to get the side draft, and just like that, now Case Kallenbach's into the mix right behind DT.
I think what's going to end up deciding this race is who Goen decides to go with here. You can see he's on the back bumper of the 53 right now. But Vargas is doing such a good job, or at least in turns 1 and 2 he was, of squeezing drive-through down on the bottom and trying to keep that momentum at bay. And now you're going to see Vargas drop in line behind DT. He is trying to get to the bottom, but DT is going to guard it with everything he has because he knows that if he's on the bottom, he has a fighting chance here.
The good thing is, you talked about the speeds these cars are going. It's about $145, $150 or so that these guys have in the corner. But the good thing is, with the way these cars are set up, this little bit of contact, you can catch that. You can bump into somebody. It's not the end of your race. You're not doing 190. So that's the good thing. These guys can catch these cars when they are making contact. That saved us. Obviously not every time, because we saw that first incident in this heat, but it means these guys can wrestle and they can fight for position as they come out at turn number 4. DT trying everything on that bottom, and Vargas jacking them up as they come out of the corner.
Yeah, DT almost got the rear tires lifted up off the ground. If I had to guess. That, as well as hitting that apron transition. It's a good thing he saved that car from the lead. He and Melillo still side by side here, but Vargas trying to do anything he can. I think we're going to see the bumper used a little bit. I just think you might be carrying too much momentum. Oh, here he comes. 3 wide on the bottom. Vargas gets past DT finally, and it's coming through turns 3 to the final lap here. Going still on the high side with Melillo, but it's going to be Melillo, DT, and Vargas still 3 wide, coming to the stripe.
Well, Caleb Hoffman, remember to pay your internet bill, but nonetheless, they're 3 wide as they're back into turn number 1. Vargas tried to make it work on the inside. He's still there. Up on the top side, that's Justin Melillo. In the middle, that's DT, Davin. He's going to try and make it work. He goes from the top to the bottom. Side draft galore. Going. He's going to go to the bottom. He's going to try and get Vargas the win here, or is he going to try and win it himself? Down the back stretch we go into turn number 3. Vargas has the run. He rolls the corner perfectly. Is he going to be able to clear Davin and make this easy? Here comes Cohen right to the back bumper of the 23 out of turn number 4. Cohen's going to shoot the gap. He's going to try and win this thing to the line. Davin, I think.
I think DT.
Yes.
I think it was
yes.
DT. I think you're right. Let's go, DT.
DT, photo finish winner. He had the momentum on the outside. He had the help, and I think that's all he needed. Holy cow. That's 2. That's 2 already tonight. What an awesome finish there. Let's see if we can dial up a replay on that one, because holy cow. Davin somehow made that work, and with all the help from Justin Melillo to make that happen as well. DT does not win that race, I'll tell you what, if Justin dumps him and tries to win it himself. Able to make it work through turns 3 and 4. And we'll take a look at how this one ended up here. You can see Justin on the outside, no help. So at this point, you would think, does he stay up there to try to win himself? No, he drops in behind DT because he knows that outside line might be getting a little bit of a run. And then, of course, Gary down in the bottom, he saw what Corey did, except he shot to the middle. So he tried to do what Cadell did. And DT with enough of a run, and I think just with a little tap, Justin Melillo was able to get Davin across the line, and DT wins heat number 2 in another awesome heat race here from Kansas Speedway. Oh, well, we got to catch our breath a little bit here. We got a 5-minute countdown, so I think what we're going to do is step aside and take a little bit of a commercial break. You're watching the Core Summer Series presented by SimRampMarket.com. It's the Richmar it's the Richmar Florist 150. Easy for me to say. And we'll go take a commercial break so I can go get a drink. Goodness gracious. Welcome back to the Richmar Florist 150 here, part of the Core Summer Series Season 6, presented by SimRampMarket.com. My name is Cisco Scaramuzza, along with me, Caleb Hoffman. And of course, we want to thank all our partners here at FTF.GG, and who helps make this broadcast possible, including, hey, by the way, FTF.GG, Messer Media, Gabe Wood, hey, he paid for this, Richmar Florist, and of course, SimRampMarket.com. Thank you so much for supporting what we do here. Going to see if we have the opportunity to talk to our Heat 2 winner and find out how he was able to get that done. Let's see if we can get him up here. Dial him up. Caleb, you got the old radio. Let's see if we can dial up that 77.
Hey, there's DT.
Hello.
We got you? Hello. Hey. Heat 2 there. Kind of the same as what we saw with Heat 1 with the crazy photo finish. Just talk us through what you saw out of the hood of the 77 there.
Yeah, it's nice to talk to you guys after a Heat win two weeks in a row. It was a lot of fun. It's going to be a really interesting race. It was cool being 3 wide with those guys throughout that entire race, especially because those were Justin Malillo's first laps. He didn't do any practice, so he was learning on the fly real quick. But I gotta thank him for sticking with me at the end there, because otherwise I would not have won that Heat.
How easy is it to catch these cars, Davin? We were talking a little bit about it. You're doing about $140, $150 on this racetrack. How much wheel do you have?
Yeah, it's not as easy as you'd think. Especially if you're on the bottom, you're getting pinched. It's a little bit loose, a little bit slidey. You know, we make these. It's extra hot out there today, and the runs aren't as big as you think either. So it kind of gets plugged up at the front. But I think it makes for really good racing, and it's really easy to go 4, maybe even 5 wide. So hopefully we'll get some of that in this first feature.
Well, you got 17 cars rather, Davin, to make it happen. Good luck out there, man.
Thanks.
Real fast before we let DT go, I did just want to mention, I saw, do you have Gabe Wood's hood on your car today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm running out of budget for new parts. This thing's been wrecked every week. We ran out of black noses. We found a blue one to throw on there, and I needed a new hood. And I may have borrowed without permission from the 04 car, but I think they'll be all right.
Is that an admission of theft? We're going to let you get back to it before you incriminate yourself anymore, but good luck here in race number 1.
Have fun.
Well, speaking of paying bills, I did this in heat number 1, but I'll do it again here because you're supposed to do it here, which is the Messer Media proudly presents the Coors Summer Series Pole Award. The Messer Media Pole Award is presented to the driver who starts first in every race. For race number 1, that will be Justin Champagne, who won heat number 1 just barely in the first of our 2 photo finishes here this evening. Quick run through your grid here. Champagne, DT, drive through, Gabe Wood, Gary Owen, Goen, Jonathan Cadell, Ryan Vargas, Corey Vervink, Justin Malillo, Wes Graham, Garrett Smithley, your top 10. As they come out of turn number 4, pace truck driver is going to hit pit road. The field's going to be in the hands of Barney the Flagman. It's Justin Champagne, the red 38. It's DT, the purple 77 on the top. Let's go racing. Great start from Justin there on the bottom side. He's able to apex out, get a little bit of a gap, and that's going to leave DT in the Hornet's nest leading it as Gabe Wood going to follow through and just basically go back to what he started in heat number 1, right to the back bumper of Champagne already. Not clear, though, because here comes DT with help from Gary Owen on that top side.
And how aggressive do we see guys get to that top side, especially further in the back? I'm looking at Vargas, maybe Justin Malillo, who steps out a little bit. Is going to have to get out of the throttle. He's going to save that race car, though, coming off at turn number 4 for the first time.
That was Herman Reese spinning in the background. You can see him there on your screen briefly as we catch back up to the rest of the field. Just got a little bit loose out of the corner. So Herman Reese starting not a great start this evening. As now Wes Graham, you can see the 88 just tag the apron, able to hold on to it. Don't know how long you're going to be able to keep doing that. Here as they come out of the corner, it's a 5-6 car pack here as it looks like DT also forgot to pay the internet bill tonight.
Hamster's not running very well, but get back in shape and try to lead this middle line. Vargas now to the outside quarter panel of Goen. As DT still blinking, I wonder if that's going to make Goen try to switch partners here.
And Vargas look at
big
the
time.
outside.
Going to make contact with Gabe Wood there, but that'll actually give Gabe Wood the real estate he needs to get underneath Justin Champagne. Champagne going to let him in. Now he's going to try to lead this middle line as Gabe Wood has help from Corey Vervink behind, rolling through 1 and 2. Look at Vargas up on the top with no help.
Is Gabe Wood sabotaging Davin's internet? Find out this week on Shrimp Hours Presents. But that being said, Gabe Wood down to the bottom side. You mentioned it. He got right down there and just got a nose in on Champagne. He does it again here in the corner, but no help. Meanwhile, high, wide, and handsome up on the top side. That's Vargas, that's Gary Owen, and that's Justin Malillo. He's back up there. I think the guys who worked that top side, not afraid to go right back up there as Davin, unfortunately, right down the sucker hole. We'll be seeing you in the back there, bud.
Yeah, get ready to eat rubber, buddy. I mean, he's been blinking the entire time, still blinking as we speak right now. So Pack's going to cycle him out, hang him out to dry, and we'll have some new contenders up here. Look at Garrett Smithley. He and Fly Guy were involved in that wreck in heat number 2, and now he's going to try to get up here and try to get a taste of the lead for the first time today.
Sounds like DT got told to go to the back. Well, hopefully the Hamsters get a refuel on some water here, and maybe he'll get back up there and mix it up. Keep an eye on him. Meanwhile, 3 by 3 right now as they go through this whole pack. Well, it can if Dorman can get up there. Then it will be a 3 by 3 pack. They are going to go 2 wide behind, and you can see Gabe Wood, not enough help from Corey Vervink, who apparently thought this was a Formula Drift event, but he's able to hang on to it now as breaks up this pack a little bit. No longer just as formal, as now you got 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. And Garrett Smith, oh goodness, Justin Malillo. Right on the edge of frame there goes top 2 bottom. But yeah, you got 2 cars on the top, 2 cars on the bottom, and now it looks like the pack's going to blend a little bit here.
Yeah, Vervink got a taste of the apron, and that got him all sideways. And then Justin Malillo pushed up the racetrack there, tried to make a little too aggressive of an arc, but got there eventually down on the inside. And again, just 3 different lines here. And right now, Vargas and Smithley working together in the middle. That's a very troublesome duo, I feel like, especially when you have Champagne and Gabe Wood down on the inside. I remember both those guys still were in the thick of this thing. Justin Malillo and Goen as well behind. So a 6-pack up here for the lead, but don't count out guys like Corey Vervink, drive through again, Robert Dorman. I mean, we could have 8 or 9 cars in this battle.
Man, a little bit of a fishtail there catch by Champagne to go all the way down to the grass. But I guess the question is now, Caleb, do you work with the guys you raced with in the heat? Or do you not trust them and go with somebody new? Because right now it looks like the Heat 1 guys are working with the Heat 1 guys and the Heat 2 guys are working with the Heat 2 guys.
Well, keep in mind, this race is double the length, so I still think we're in that kind of exploratory phase of this race. As we start to tick laps down, I think that's when you really start to get racy. But I think everybody's just kind of testing with each other what they'll be able to do and try to put themselves in better position here for the end of this heat right now. You can see, I mean, DT all over the back bumper of Vervink's getting him out of control just because he's pushing so aggressively, trying to get back up in this thick for the lead.
As we continue to watch this lead battle, trying to figure out what happened to some of the cars that are no longer in this front pack. It looked like there was a little bit of an incident towards the rear of your field here, possibly with, oh no, Cadell and Fly Guy both started from pit road. So that's why they are not in this pack. So if you are fans of the 773 or the 69 car, that is why. So they started from pit road. I think they're banking on that caution to come out here, and they're trying for it right now. And Garrett going to continue to side draft that lead pack and try and go for the lead here on Champagne.
And that's a big change as well from the heats now to the main race. Is cautions are going to be a lot easier to trigger, and especially with how we've been racing. I mean, we've seen a few wrecks already tonight. Just haven't had that caution just yet. And right now, I'll give them credit. They're doing a very good job of sticking in this pack, all coagulated together. Here comes Vargas, though, looking to the outside. Might start to get a little more racy now as we're about to get to halfway left in race number 1. Champagne still on the bottom, doing such a good job at holding it. Smithley and Vargas going to have to go the long way around him. As going up on this outside again.
Oh, contact. That's Corey Vervink right into the rear corner of DT. That's going to send Vervink through the grass. He's going to be able to hold on to it, but he's bound down. We are not in that 12 car as he's able to hold on to it, but that's going to put him right at the back of the pack, and he's, I think, going to need a caution at this point. As, boy, oh boy, they're going to just start to get more and more aggressive with that side draft, Caleb, and I think that's where we're going to start worrying. If I'm Justin Malillo, I'm Robert Dorman, maybe might start thinking about hovering that left foot over that brake pedal just in case.
Nah, you got to go full send here,
all right,
baby. I mean, we got faster pairs in this league for a reason. I will say, though, with how tightly packed this front group is, you got to be very careful. Gabe Wood's been pushing up the racetrack, so is DT as well. I mean, you do get tight in these cars trying to just stick in line. You see Vargas and Goen pushing up the racetrack a little bit as well. But look, we have 7, 8 now. Yeah, just 8 cars in this lead pack. I mean, the entire party's here right now. So, especially with just 10 laps to go now, you're going to have to be very careful. Justin Malillo now pushing up the racetrack a little bit as well. Going to give a shove to the back end of Vargas. And Vargas going to save it. They're going to be 3 wide still, though. And it's going to be like this for the rest of the night.
Champagne and Smithley, that last lap through 1 and 2, they were completely locked. They welded those 2 cars together. Like, they were just sitting on each other's panels, and they were fine. So that's not, I don't know what that is, because that's not side drafting anymore. That's just welding your car to the side of your competitor's car. Absolutely unreal. I've never seen that before, but they're able to hold on to it. These guys having a ton of fun wheeling. Is Malillo going to drift up a little bit, caught in the wake of everybody here, and look who snuck his way into the picture. Robert Dorman, where did he come from?
Yeah, Robert Dorman and Justin Malillo in line here. They were having some back and forth banter earlier today, and now find themselves having to work together down on this inside. Vargas still trying to make this outside lane work, but you know, there's too many cars on track. He's not going to be able to pull off that crossover move that we saw from him in his heat, where he went from the top to the middle, eventually to the bottom underneath DT. I think he's going to have to try to just get help and make this outside lane work. Maybe you can try to take DT spot in the middle there, but it's going to be really difficult. And this is where you start to get that traffic jam effect, where you just get gridlocked in here and can't make a move.
Yeah, and you can kind of see, I agree with what you were talking about with Gary Owen, because Gary has been by far, I think, the best car pushing that we've seen tonight. Unfortunately, I just don't know if they can make it work on the top side with how much side draft these cars have right now, because you can see Vargas poking the nose, doing a little bit of exploring. I think, honestly, if you're Gary Owen, maybe just kind of sit by and spectate Vargas. A little bit, Vargas. And that's twice now that he's come down to try and grab a spot. And I think over-crank that wheel just a little bit. He's having fun out there. And this pack oh man, I don't know how they haven't yet, but they're getting real close As
Oh, and
Vargas-
here he goes. Vargas going to
All
try
right.
to split the middle here. This is
Sure.
what we were talking about. He's getting underneath that quarter panel of DT. Does DT bail on it, or does he wreck the field? Vargas goes back down to the inside. He's going to have to try again, but now DT's blinking. Probably at the most inopportune time. There's 6 laps to go. Drivers are yelling at DT to get out of here. But Gabe Wood and Vargas hooked up on the bottom. Garrett Smithley, if DT blinks out, not going to have help for a minute. There might be an opening in that second groove.
Yeah, DT is not helping this pack on the top side. Get out of there, Dappin, please. As meanwhile, still side by, you haven't been able to get these 2 cars away from each other at the line. It's been a photo finish every lap. This time it is going to go to Champagne with help from Gabe Wood. DT going to head to the top side.
Oh, and they're gonna be
oh,
fired.
yep,
No,
that's
he's gonna
not going
get
to work.
turned. He's gonna get hooked in front of the field. He makes contact with DT, and with 5 laps to go, we get our first caution of race number 1.
And that was, I think, unfortunately, that wasn't really a whole lot either of these guys could do. Sort of a situation, actually, that I kind of wound up in at Watkins Glen, where I think this is a case where Melillo was 3 wide with Gary Owen, but I don't think Vargas was 3 wide with Justin Melillo, because if you look at where the front of Justin's nose, that's behind where Vargas's car is. So I think Vargas had no idea they were 3, and unfortunately he's trying to go to the top side and get to that top lane. Gary Owen has enough space if Justin Melillo isn't there, but you'll take a look here on the replay. So you can see Vargas down there starts to drift up, and I just don't think he knew Melillo was there. And just like that, Gary Owen, nowhere to go, gets turned right across the nose of 53. It's unfortunately, just one of those racing deals. Gary Owen going to speed up and try to catch the pack. There's a look from DT as well. You're going to get maybe a look off the left side of it here. Vargas, I think, saw daylight, tried to push Gary Owen up the racetrack so he could get in there. Unfortunately, Gary Owen, the Raptor Lightning car, goes hard into the outside fence there. And just like that, first caution. Question is, do we see any takers on pit road for anything other than damage? No, it looks like just damage, guys. For the most part here, I see DT, I see Melillo, and I think I see Gary Owen. So those are your 3 down pit road. And then Cadell and Fly Guy, they're in the back, they're off the pack. So I think they're going to do what we tried at Charlotte, Caleb, and just go take fresh tires and see if that gets you somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, we also saw it last week at Watkins Glen. I mean, obviously, tires are in handling are going to matter a lot more there, but it's definitely still an advantage to be found. I think we've seen how advantageous it is to have some of those fresher tires. I think on the inside, especially maybe that middle lane as well, if you can keep that momentum up on the bottom as compared to these guys that have stayed out the entire race, there's definitely some time to be found there. But it's still going to be an uphill battle for these guys this late in the going for this race to get past Champagne and Garrett Smithley, who have just felt like a brick wall up at the front of this field.
You know, chat was calling you out, by the way, Caleb, today. Chat
What did
was...
I do?
Well, they were saying you used a big word. You word of the day, coagulated. And I think that's a really good term to talk about how these cars have been going. Just down to the fact that they all sort of clump together, but they can't break away from each other. The draft just keeps bringing them all back in one pack. So, yeah, I think I got to hand it to you for the Scrabble word. How many points is that on Wordle? Could that even fit on Wordle?
I could not fit on Wordle.
Darn.
Yeah, no, coagulated. Well, you'll have a few of those. I think it's mostly like refers to like blood though. So
well, I mean,
you can use your imagination and it works.
yeah.
But again, it's really that effect we're seeing where everybody just comes together, packs tightly until somebody messes up, and then we just implode everything, and we'll get to start again. So
yeah, we'll see as the
yeah.
choose cone, choose this time, choose.
Yeah, we do hear Ben, but I'm really impressed by these guys. What we've seen up at the front. There's been lots of beating and banging, lots of leaning on each other, but gotten free without any wrecks so far. Now with the first caution, I'm hoping that we see a lot similar to that here for the rest of this one and in race number 2. But we'll find out. Again, top 5 familiar names up here, but look at like right outside of it, Wes Graham, Cody Hicken, sneakily up here as well. Dorman. One of these guys could walk out of here with their first win.
We'll have to see how it happens. By the way, Caleb, just so you know, Coagulated is worth 14 points in Scrabble. No bonuses, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Pace truck going to head in. Yep, triple word, but nonetheless, green-white checkered is in effect there. I saw the flag say it, so that means we are GWC time. Green flag's back in the air as we race off into turn number 1. It's a great start from Garrett Smithley on the top side. A really great start. Is Champagne going to side draft into turn number 1? And Smithley going to have help from Ryan.
Cadell almost spun a little back further. They're 3 wide. Now Justin Malillo, Wes Graham trying to figure something out. They've split up big time. Cody Hicken kind of the glue that's holding these 2 packs together as they come down the backstretch.
They're going to be coming to the white flag if they make it here. As side by side continuing on. Smithley trying to get all the momentum he can. Unfortunately, Vargas just isn't there. They'll come off the corner. You can see both those cars get loose, but it's Justin Champagne, first driver to the white flag. Gabe trying to look to the middle. I think if you're Gabe Wood, you're thinking back to those other races. Caleb, where can I make my move?
Gonna have to figure something out if he can get Champagne up the racetrack maybe, but Garrett Smithley's doing such a good job of squeezing him down. Vargas all over the back bumper, that 43, still all over each other, side by side as they go into turn number 3. Does Gabe Wood have anything for Champagne here? He's gonna shove him, he's gonna push himself up the racetrack. He almost gets into Garrett Smithley, coming out of 4 for the final time.
Gabe's gonna try and make a lane. He's gonna go down to the bottom side. Champagne's gonna block. Smithley to the top, 3 wide to the line.
I think it was Garrett.
I think Garrett
Smithley got it.
Garrett Smithley by 3 1/1000ths of a second that time. Oh, well, I would ask have you ever, but a couple of times at this point, Caleb. I mean, holy, every race is going to end like this, apparently. Another awesome finish.
Another Kansas banger.
Man, we talked about at the top of the show. This is a great track on iRacing because of how it top feeds. And this is a great track for these cars just because I think it irons out a lot of the sudden turn and changes in banking that Charlotte doesn't. And it lets these guys get lots of big runs. And as we watch that replay come into the line, oh, that's a beautiful thing. And he got loose. And I don't think I've ever had the opportunity to say this, Caleb, on a broadcast before. But it was the kick out on the nose. That's what did it. The kick out on the nose that gets the Panther across for Garrett Smithley. What an awesome race there. As we'll take a look at the results here from feature number 1 of tonight's Rich Mar Florist 150. Garrett Smithley, there it is, 3 1/1000ths of a second. Ryan Vargas, 27 100ths of a second, so he was right up there. Gabe Wood, 78 100ths of a second, and then Dorman, the first driver within a 10th or so. But you can see all these guys packed up right together. Dorman 5th, Justin Malillo 6th, Cody Hicken 7th, Wes Graham 8th, Corey Vervinkt is 9th, and Gary Owen is 10th. Then you got Cadell in 11th, Davin DT going to be 12th. Fly Guy Tyrone is going to be 13th. Herman Reese is going to be 14th. Case Kallenbach 15th. Michael Frisch in 16th. He's not here. Travis Brown ain't here either. He's 17th. And then I'm getting my my last place points because Blake isn't here. So with that, we're going to jump aside and take a quick commercial break. You are watching the Course Summer Series presented by SimRapMarket.com. It's the Rich Mar Florist 150, and we'll be right back. Back live here on FTF.GG for the Richmar Florist 150, part of the Core Summer Series, presented by SimRapMarket.com. Cisco Scaramouche alongside Caleb Hoffman here. And Caleb, we're going to dial up another driver, and it was the guy who made it happen. Hey, he's in the sponsor car tonight, so we got to give him a little bit of airtime. Caleb, you caught up with Garrett Smithley.
Yeah, here with Garrett, and you were able to eke out a win there in race number 1. Talk us through it. I mean, it feels like everything's been a photo finish tonight, but how are you able to come in on top there?
Yeah, Street Stocks at Kansas is an absolute brawl, even more than Charlotte. So I knew it was going to be a challenge. Justin Champagne, I know I gave him a lot of crap the last week, or 2 weeks ago, since I missed last week at the Glen, but we had a really, really good race, side by side, all race long, and had a photo finish there. So I think I gotta thank the Chevy Camaro nose, because we had that little kick out. That's all I won by. So shout out to my Richmar machine. Fitting that we went to Victory Lane for the Richmar 150 here at Kansas, and I guess taking a week off did wonders, because we're back in Victory Lane for the first time, the first points race I think in a couple seasons.
And my only question for you, Garrett, are you going back to back?
I mean, that's the plan, right? We'll try to do the back to front challenge, since we're going to be inverting this thing. So, unfortunately, my track record this season has been 1 good race, 1 bad race. So I hope that we can break that, at least finish top 3, get a podium, since the Olympics are on. So I'm hoping for a top 3, but really going to try to do the sweep.
Well,
you're
hopefully
you're gonna make us go get medals now, Garrett. Is that what you're trying for?
I mean, I it's fitting, right? I think we could actually. Here's what we should do, since it's the Richmar 150, and I believe Richmar is going to be sponsoring the rest of the races for the season. So I think we should have a gold, a silver, and a bronze flower made into a medal. I think we should do that.
I'm sorry, I only got money for a trophy.
Wait a minute. Hang on now. You have a sponsor that literally
that is true.
Sells flowers. So I think I can probably make a phone call and see if we can make something happen. Maybe for the season finale. If you can make it
happen, we'll make it happen.
All right, I'll get my people to call his people, and then we'll call your people, and we'll see what we can do.
We'll circle back. Garrett.
All right,
we'll
sounds like
circle
a plan.
back. Yeah. We'll get back with you.
Yeah. Shout out to the Lean Stream. They're watching right now live on Twitch. Anybody on the Lean Stream, if you're not watching FTF_GG, go watch, go follow. Amazing broadcast, and we're gonna do it again here in just a few minutes.
All right, Garrett. Good luck.
Thanks.
That's Garrett Smithley, winner of feature number 1, and Caleb. Really convenient for us to have the sponsor of the race win the race, because it means I can also do my ad read once again and make sure we pay some bills here. So, of course, we want to thank everybody here who makes the Core Summer Series happen. We want to thank our partners at FTF.GG, Messer Media. I want to thank Gabe Wood. So, by the way, Caleb, I don't know if you know this. He paid for this.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Shout out to Gabe.
Yeah, thanks, Gabe. Richmar Florist, and of course, SimRapMarket.com. Thank you, everybody. Of course, I haven't said enough. Messer Media, the official photography of the Madhouse Bowman Gray Stadium. Do we know if Eric's going to be there for the Clash next year? Do we know that yet? Can we find that out? Because he's going to be a busy guy.
Breaking news on FTF.
We breaking news? No, I don't think. I think everybody knows that already.
I was hoping you had the scoop for us, but
no, I don't think I have the scoop. Why would I have the scoop?
You never know. But yeah, I do hope he is at the Clash next year. That would be a ton of fun. It's gonna be a little weird seeing the cup cars at Bowman Gray, but
the one photo. And James Spike, who isn't here, but has helped out from time to time, but he actually called somebody throwing the track drawing bucket at somebody during the modified race at Bowman Gray. I want to know if Eric has a picture of that, because that was legitimately the first time I've ever seen. They didn't like grab like a fistful and throw it at the guy. No, he grabbed the bucket off the truck and chucked it at another car. Like, never seen that before in my life. Bowman Gray Stadium, always a good time. And hey, if you want some photos from there, Eric Messer, he's the guy. Messer Media, that's who you got to go to make that happen. Switch it back over here. Checkered flag in the air, which means it's grid time for feature number 2. And we have 40 laps on the docket here from Kansas Speedway. So with that, let's run you through your grid here. Of course, Messer Media proudly sponsors the Course Summer Series Pole Award, as we've said a couple times here. The honor is given to the driver who's, well, they start on pole. So for race number 2, does that mean me, technically? Because I'm starting last? Do I get the pole award?
This is the second week in a row that this has happened.
Ben with the firm no. So unfortunately, Caleb, I was gonna have you like give me the pole award and we'd do like a whole like thing, but because of that, I guess Case. Yeah, I guess Case, because I'm obviously up here. Travis Brown would start second, but Travis isn't here. Frisch would start third, but Frisch isn't here. So that means Case Kallenbach, you are the winner of the Messer Media Pole Award, and he just got an EOL.
So the car that's gridded up 5th will be starting on the pole.
Is this what Ryan Blaney was mad about a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, this is certainly something. We should be joined here by Travis and Frisch, who I believe are starting from the pits here, not on track yet, but yeah, this is gonna be fun. Look who's on your front row and all of this shakeup though. Gonna be Herman Reese and should be DT to his outside.
DT, though, Cadell thinks he's starting on the outside pole.
I don't know what's happening anymore.
I think, look. If Cadell says he's outside pole, then I'm not gonna argue him. So, I mean, it's just take the spot at this point. So yeah, it looks like the front row is gonna be Herman Reese and Jonathan Cadell. Then after that, you got DT and Corey, Gary Owen and Cody Hicken, Cody H Gaming. And then Wes Graham, West the Mess 88, and Robert Dorman, Justin Malillo, and then Ryan Vargas, Gabe Wood. He didn't pay for this shout out though, and Justin Champagne, and then Case Kallenbach starting with that EOL, and Garrett Smithley doing the last to first challenge. Pace truck gonna head down to the safety of pit road. Please run away because we had one fairly clean race. Who knows what we're gonna see here? Field in control. Barney the flagman. Green flags in the air. Let's go racing. Great run on the bottom side to start us out. Herman Reese pulling to the front of the field as they headed to turn number 1 and drifting up already. That car a little bit tight on corner entry, and Herman going to go way up the racetrack, more than I think Cadell bargained for in the first turn of the race. And just like that, DT, hey, he stole Gabe's hood, but he's leading this race right now, and he's going to rejoin. That's not
big
going to
one!
work.
Herman Reese is going to spin in the middle of the field, and the entire pack is involved. Cody Hicken drive-through race, obviously. It's evasive maneuvers for everybody around the racetrack. And what a way to start off race number 2 of the Rich Mar Florist 150 from Kansas.
I told you, Caleb. Race 1 was clean. You were the one who said it earlier. One's clean and one's a crash fest. And well, unfortunately, that was everybody. That was everybody except Gary. Nope, did Gary get a piece of that? No, he didn't, but he almost did. Oh, that's going to be one of the replays if we get the rear shot from Gary Owen, but we'll take a look wide first on this big one. And yeah, I think Herman just tried to come down the track, and I don't know if he just thought he wasn't clear, Caleb, but yeah, I think that's all it was. I think he tried to clear himself. And just a lot of cars crashed here, and I want to see Zach, if Zach can dial up the shot from Gary Owen looking backwards, because Gary got a gift here. You can see, so in front, the accident's happening right here. Gary goes to the bottom, and then you'll see stage left. Whoop! Okay. Corey Vervicht about wiped out Gary Owen, but survives somehow. So Gary Owen's going to go get a lotto ticket. Yeah, here's the wide shot here. Watch that black 12 car on the very top side. He's going to get turned. And Oh my goodness. The kick out on the nose somehow saved them. Gary should have been in the fence, but you can see Justin Malillo there. Nowhere for anyone to go. I don't know who else made it through that. Oh, 88. 88 might be a good look at this. Wes Graham did get a piece of it, but and we're going to ride on board with Gabe Wood. Nowhere to go. Cars everywhere. Crunch, crunch, crunch. And he's going to have a couple body panels. He's going to be replacing. I'm going to see if we can dial up a look from the 88. Looking forward on this one because he didn't really make it through. He survived it, though. So looking on board, West Mess 88, Wes Graham. You can see contact in front of him. A little bit of contact with Cadell. He's able to hold on to it and then dodge Corey Vervinkt. And I think that freaked Zach out because Zach thought he was clear. He was, in fact, not. But somehow those two, maybe not unscathed. The only one of that, of course, is Gary Owen. But Wes Graham might need a new driver's suit after that. But I think Garrett Smithley, just like that, is up to third because he was nowhere near that wreck. He was in the back. So just like that, Garrett Smithley sitting pretty here in race number 2.
Cisco, I remember just a minute ago we were talking about breaking news.
Yeah.
I have some breaking news of my own.
Okay.
Text.
AT&T, thank you for that.
Unbelievable.
AT&T
AT&T is trying to silence me.
Why don't you give that one a go?
As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted as we're coming to the choose cone here, per sources, Kevin McAdams has just ordered wings and a personal pan pizza following his terrible crash today at the GoPro Motorplex. But wings and a personal pan pizza is the choice.
What happened? Did he just get loose in one of the corners, or did he put in the barrier? Do we know what happened?
I'm not sure. The only word I've heard is from Travis Brown earlier, who said that he was clear of the catch fence. But
well, yeah, all right. Well, I don't know how you can do that in a GoPro cart, but I guess Kevin found a way.
Kevin McAdams.
Yeah, exactly. That is true. Field and control, Geico restart zone. We're in. We're green, and we're going. Gary Owen on the bottom. He's going, and he's going to try and get a run on Garrett Smithley. Unfortunately, the gear shift. I don't think Gary's using. I think Gary's using clutch assist. Because just like that, now Garrett Smithley has the run on the top side.
And Garrett Smithley's got Justin Champagne all over the back bumper. Champagne's been a force to be reckoned with. But how about Garrett Smithley? He said he was going to try to do the last to first challenge, and he's gotten to the front here with help from Champagne. Corey Vervinkt behind this outside lane trying to get formed up, but here comes Going once again down on the inside with help from Wes Graham. Ryan Vargas is in this line. Case Kallenbach as well. 7 cars really under a blanket in this lead pack.
Oh, please nobody make a mistake. Is Garrett Smithley leading that outside line? He's got help from probably the strongest car on the opposite side of the racetrack. Champagne's been making the bottom his home all day long, but now he's on the top side trying to make that line work with Smithley. And those two very much together. Everybody else, for the most part, pretty spaced out. As it looks like some of the cars were just kind of catching back up to the field on that restart, and they've lost a little bit of touch. So we got about a 6-pack of cars here, and then 2 right behind with Case Kallenbach and Jonathan Cadell. So kind of an 8-car battle pack here towards the front of your field. Everybody else trying to catch back up from that damage over that last restart.
Vargas trying to make a line in the middle here, but the thing is, we have plenty of time right now. I mean, you thought race 1 was long, and we're going double the distance of that. So they have plenty of time to figure things out. And really, I think your main prerogative here is really just survive. That's all you got to do, is just make sure you're in this thing at the end. You're going to have plenty of time. Oh, Vervinkt and Vargas come together right as I say that. But no, as long as you're in this thing at the end, you're okay. I don't think we're going to see many aggressive. Oh, I've jinxed it. Jonathan Cadell's going to get spun off the nose of Corey Vervinkt.
Oh.
The commentator's curse.
People don't think it's real. It's absolutely real. We just saw it right there. They were in the middle of the pack. There's absolutely no reason, but because you said it, Corey drifted down, and oh man, we might have a little bit of beef here because Corey, you just came down there, bud. Yeah. Boy. Well, I said I was going to talk. Do you want to drag up the aggressor there in that one? The driver of the 12 car? See if we can dial him up.
Vargas.
Yep, there he is. We give him a quick mute here, but hello, Corey.
Hello.
What do you have to say for yourself?
I was just hanging out, and next thing I know, there was a Cadell on my left front, and I wasn't lifting. I wasn't going to lift for Vargas. I wasn't going to lift for Cadell, and, he just came right across my nose there.
Okay. That's one side pleads his case. Caleb, do you want to, Zach, can we dial up the other driver, perhaps? We'll get the counter argument maybe from that driver in the 69 car. See what his... Not in Discord. All right, so, I guess, Corey, you win the argument by default because Cadell's not here.
I respect Jonathan Cadell, and I think he'd respect that I wasn't going to lift no matter where he was.
Yeah, honestly, that is the case, as you see cars down on pit road getting some damage repaired. But, Corey, for real, we are on the broadcast, so that means I do get to gush a little bit. Have fun back in Indiana. For those of you who don't know, Corey's been a part of the broadcast crew at iRacing here with myself and Drew and Sean for, has it been 3 years almost at this point?
Coming up on 3 years. I started in September of 21, so yeah, it was coming up on 3 years.
But Corey's going to be moving over to the support side, so if you ever have questions that you need answered about your account or with the sim, Corey's going to be one of the people who's around during the day to answer those questions and help out. But Corey, of course, you're moving back to Indiana this week, so we saw your camera shot a little bit earlier. It's a lot more barren than it has been. You're getting ready for a big move, but congratulations on that, and have a safe drive, man, because it's been awesome to have you up here.
I am getting all of my frustrated driving out here. That's why I did not lift for Jonathan Cadell. That way I can have a nice, calm drive 14 hours back to... This is actually the last thing I'm really doing out here in Mass before I'm fully to move mode tomorrow. I appreciate all the kind words, and I had a wonderful time out here hanging out with you.
Well, I do have to dump on you a little bit because you turned your camera off, so we can't see you. Apparently.
I'm still on.
According to Zach, your camera is off right now. So.
Well, that's unfortunate. I'm looking over, and I see my camera is still on.
All right, so Zach lied because you are now on the broadcast.
Zach's a liar.
Zach's a bloody liar here.
I looked over, my camera was still on. That's all I know.
Do we got more wrestling going on in the background? What's going on over there?
It's Dynamite.
I do have AEW Dynamite on. It is Wednesday, so I got to keep up.
Well, that's what's stealing all our views, I guess. Everyone's watching Dynamite. They're not watching Corey.
All right, Gabe's telling us to stop interviewing. We're about to go green. Corey, good luck.
Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Nonetheless, Gary Owen, he's going once again. Green flag back in the air. I'm going to get as much use out of that pun as I possibly can before I get thrown out of here. As Garrett Smithley going to the bottom. Garrett's had enough of it. He wants to try and go to the lead so he doesn't have to hear it. And here they compress into turn number one. Everybody's side drafting, trying to make it through. Vargas to the middle, DT to the bottom. Justin Champagne in no man's land on the top right now.
Outside lanes getting clogged up. They're making contact. Champagne and Vargas. Just want to say real fast, hey, Gabe Wood, maybe if you weren't watching the broadcast, you'd be a little higher than 9th right now, buddy. Garrett Smithley and Goen still side by side. They're 3 wide behind him. DT, Vargas, Champagne does not have any help as Vervink tries to go underneath them here. They're 3 wide, a little further behind, but side by side for the lead. Give the advantage at the line. I believe it was going.
Just barely. The kick out on the nose, not enough for Smithley to steal that position this time. Back to turn number one. Everybody going to drift up as Gabe is bullying Corey there in the third line. He's going to send Corey up the racetrack. And into Justin Champagne, who has not had a whole lot of help. And just like that, Champagne falling out of the top group. Also hearing the reason Cadell isn't in voice chat is because Discord decided to blow up on him. So unfortunately, Cadell not here to plead his case, but he might be able to if he gets back to that 12 car.
Yeah, we miss Cadell. Hope he can be here with us or something for the weekly shotgun during the interview. It's become core tradition here for the summer series.
That is true.
But we'll have to figure it out. Look at Champagne making a big move. Malillo's going to get sideways in front of him, but Champagne got right to the inside quarter panel of Vervink there. Malillo has stacked both of them up, really, so they're going to be 3 wide, a little further behind as Corey's trying to hang on this outside. And Champagne right now, who looked almost unbeatable in race number 1, just has not been able to break through and get to the front here.
And I think it's because no one's working with him at all. I think if anyone goes with that 38 car, they're going to go right back up to the front. But, Gabe clears himself off Malillo's nose. He was clear, and he tries to go right to the back bumper of the 23 car. Maybe a little bit of team sportsmanship going on right now, those two working up topside.
Could be. Now Gabe and Vargas Vervinkt on this outside. I mean, this outside lane's gone from having no support to all of a sudden could be a threat to try to take this lead away from Garrett Smithley, who's been working so well together with DT, and Goen, who's been one of the better pushers all night, trying to lead a line all by himself, just does not have the help, as now Champagne maybe gets there as they come down the start-finish, but it's really only the inside lane that's organized, so they'll pull ahead with the advantage.
And Gabe Wood just went looking for something on the outside, did not find it, is now getting freight trained by everybody he was helping there, as he's going to go right to the back, right behind Cadell and Vervinkt, who have found each other hilariously. Out of that is contact in that front pack here. It's getting a little bit jostly. Is up on the top side. Vargas trying to side draft Champagne and Goen. Little bit of contact there, but they'll figure it out as they head back to turn number 3.
And I mean, we're still 5 laps shy of halfway, so I mean, still plenty of time. Just don't want to take yourself out, force yourself to use a faster pair. Yes, I am trying to jinx these guys right now. Vervink's stuck here on the outside. Gabe Wood right there down to his inside. You got to be careful though with the extended race distance. You could start to get hot if you're just glued to the back end of somebody here.
Yeah, so you do have to be a little bit careful with pushing on the noses of these cars. If you do push that nose in, you might bend the radiator and it'll start to get a little bit hot. So maybe you might see some of these cars jumping out of the line. That might have been what Gabe did, actually. Jump out of line, get some air on that nose, because these cars, for the most part, are pretty taped up. So any little bit of damage on the front end of that car, and you start to look at the water temp, and you start to worry, as I'm worrying about how that bottom side was going. 5 cars now down there, but everybody a little bit loose.
Yeah, Vargas was trying to pull a Dale Earnhardt there and make a pass happen through the grass, but wasn't happening for him. Justin Malillo gets back down to the inside and will retain formation, but we're getting a triple sack there on the outside lane. Look at the run that Goen gets with Champagne and Vargas all over each other into the back of the 24. He might even get clear of Garrett Smithley, but doesn't opt to take it, wants to stick on this outside lane. Gabe Wood's going to hop ship with him as well.
4 cars now on the outside, what was originally just 2. So they're going to try and make it work. A lot of Alpha Prime up there trying to make it happen, but they can't get to the front because it's Champagne and Gary Owen heading the pack on that side. Down on the bottom side, DT, hey, he found some extra hamsters because he hasn't blinked out in a while, so we know DT's fine. Right behind him, Justin Malillo. And then Wes the Mess, that is Wes Graham down there, 4th car in line on the bottom side. So Wes in the mix here as well as Cody H Gaming. Cody Hicken doing a great job kind of rear-ended this field, just kind of letting everybody sort themselves out. He's going to try and sweep up whatever's left once these guys all wreck again, right, Caleb? They're going to wreck right now.
You tried so hard, didn't you? You can't replicate the magic. But no, I mean, they're doing a really good...
wrecking right now.
Try again next time, buddy.
Yeah. Wah, wah.
All right, yeah, you want to see how it's done? Watch this. All right, Goen and Garrett Smithley right now, still side by side. Champagne drive-through. Here comes Gabe Wood down to the inside. Can he even make a lane underneath drive-through? I don't think so. DT in that number 77 doing a really good job to guard the bottom inside lane, and he's done so good at that all night long. Vargas and Gabe Wood side by side, almost even make contact. Justin Malillo up here as well, and really, it feels like we have the entire pack here. I mean, every car is in this group, just all over each other. And as we start to tick laps down, the urgency is going to start to pick up even more. We've done a really good job so far of keeping this formation going and not wrecking, outside of the first and second wrecks. But I mean, I've been really impressed at everybody for staying in this pack together without causing an incident.
And DT jumped to the bottom, and he tried to stick the nose in and almost make your prophecy come true. They do manage to hold on, and DT falls back in line behind Garrett. Man, you tried so hard. You put
All the
Dude.
cliches in there, man.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
Garrett
there it
Smithley's
is.
trying to cut the nose off and drive through. DT's going to have to get out of the throttle. Gabe Wood gets out of line. Justin Malillo is going to stick on the back end of the 77 there, and now that's going to force Ryan Vargas 3 wide. And to be honest with you, Cisco, the plan was to just keep talking for the next 40 laps until I saw a wreck start, and then I would quit talking.
Hey, that would be how you get the commentator's curse to happen, is you just don't stop talking, and
Just
then it'll
don't
happen
shut up.
eventually. Eventually they'll wreck, but somehow they've all managed.
Oh, and going right here. Vargas is going to have to get out of the throttle. Look at going all the way up to the outside retaining walls. Even a little further back, Cadell and Vervink get together, but they save it somehow, and we'll keep racing.
I don't know how they saved it, but they managed it somehow. And just like that, we continue on. So everybody going to be able to hold on to it. No, there is no give left. It's all take. As once again, your top two side by side, they're welding their cars again, which I guess if you don't want anyone jumping to the middle, that's the best way to do it. Vargas, don't do it. He thought about it though, man. He stuck the nose in and went, what if I? But he did not get there, and he's going to fall back still on that top side. And I'm just waiting for somebody to drop the get through this McQueen at this point, because they're trying it.
18 laps to go from Kansas, and might be a quick moment to catch our breath here after a few near incidents that have happened these last couple of laps as the intensity really starts to pick up. And Vargas, Champagne, Garrett Smithley, it feels like they've been leading their respective races pretty much all night. But how about DT, Justin Malillo, some names that are up here that have had really good nights, Wes Graham as well, Gabe Wood. I mean, this has been truly one of the most fun core races I can remember. It's just everybody all over each other, not giving an inch all night long. Champagne and Vargas get a little sideways there, and now that 23 is going to have to recollect his momentum and get back to the back bumper, the 38. Same thing's happening down on the inside as your bottom lane was using the apron there on the front stretch a little bit.
Yeah, everybody trying, I think, to find a little bit of clean air for these cars. They've been bouncing around a lot, so it would not surprise me if some of these cars have a little bit of cooling damage. One person in chat asking, that's Donnie H, asking if they need to pit. I think, based on what I drove at Charlotte, Caleb, I think tires can help you, especially with how aggressive these guys are getting as they get loose once again coming out of the corner. But unless you're, towards the back, it's not really going to be worth it to give up this track position, because we're seeing a lot of ebb and flow. But I think you need a little bit of help to really get up there and try and mix it up with these guys, and you're not going to be able to do that. And I think a perfect example of that, honestly, looking at the list here, Herman Reese, Jonathan Cadell have not been able to make it up into that pack towards the back of your field. So I think fresh tires can help, but you're not going to have to pit for fuel. So I think only if you're in the 11 and further on back does it even make sense, I think, to come down and take tires.
Yeah, but in terms of fuel, not going to have to pit at any point tonight. Tires optional, could be a strategy move, but not really anticipating it because, I mean, unless we get a late race caution and then all bets go off. But speaking of late race caution, they're trying up here for the lead. Champagne all over Garrett Smithley there. He's got a big push from Ryan Vargas, who's got help from Gabe Wood behind. Going into turns 3 and 4 now. Smithley's starting to run up that racetrack a little bit again. I think tires could be advantageous here. Maybe, Wes Graham on back if you want to get something going there. I mean, with how many laps we're doing, I think that's a potential play if we get a late race caution.
And the banking here isn't as stark as it was at Charlotte, so I don't think the cars are going to get quite as unhappy as they were at Charlotte, but I still think you're seeing the tire degradation start to factor in. So it might be worth, at these pit stops, you can get a change of 4 tires during a caution and not lose a lap. So I think it's worth it if you're in the back. But, as they run right now, you're not doing it under green. You're going to have to do it under yellow. And that means you hope that you're going to have to see a wreck. Darn it. A wreck here. A wreck here.
Oh, they might. Champagne
They might.
chopping the nose off of Ryan Vargas, and this late in the race, I'm not sure how that's going to go over. Back down into turn number 1. DT trying to get to the back bumper of the Garrett Smithley machine. They're going to make a little bit of contact. Smithley up the racetrack a little bit. Off of turn number 2 now. Vargas and DT have been doing such a good job of making this 2-car tandem work. haven't been able to pull away from the field like we would see in a traditional two-car tandem, but really they have done such a good job at not allowing anybody any room to try to even attempt to move. I mean, we saw that outside lane, or the middle lane rather. You know, if you leave a little bit of a gap there, you can use the inside quarter panel to move them up the racetrack. But again, DT and Vargas have been doing such a good job at not leaving space there. As soon as I say that, though, Vargas does leave a little bit of a gap. Gabe Wood could use that to his advantage later if that keeps happening.
I think the good thing about Vargas is that it is Gabe behind him. So Gabe will stab him in the back, but I think where it's a little bit too early for that as they continue on. At this point, it's just a matter of who decides to take that chance. I think, honestly, we're doing a little bit of pack riding right now. They're trying stuff. Oh, there it is. Never mind.
Gonna leave Champagne out to dry. Gabe Wood and Goen sticking with the number 23 machine. They'll try to get Champagne out of here. DT looking to the inside of Garrett Smithley for a second. Now Justin Malillo has to get out of the throttle big time to let the 77 back up the racetrack. Big chain reaction there. And now we're gonna have some real estate to take up. Here comes Goen, gonna bail and go down to the middle lane, and that's gonna move a new cycle up. Here comes Vervinkt. Steel Horse in this group. Malillo down on the inside. And Champagne going to cut the nose off of the number 43. They got really disconnected there. And now Garrett Smithley going to have to make something happen a little further behind.
And we talked a lot about it a little bit before. It looked like no one wanted to work with Champagne, but it looks like Gary Owen is the guy who wants to do that right now. And we saw Champagne straight to the front. Gary's been one of the best cars to push you all night long. And it looks like that might be the car to get you up to the front as it all shakes out here. Everybody going a little bit wide, and just like that, Jonathan Cadell right back in this thing. I think he was saving a little bit of tires in the back there because he's back up in this thing. And right now, one of the more controlled cars in this pack. Watch it. Well, never mind. He just floated up the racetrack. So never mind. Thanks, Jonathan.
Gabe Wood there on the back bumper.
Oh,
almost had contact. Yeah. Yeah, Cisco might need to take a breather there. It got him going. But no, Vargas up here on the outside. Look at Cadell and Justin Malillo, 3 wide, a little further behind. Champagne now trying to play the Pied Piper and control all of these lines with under 10 laps to go. I don't even know if it's possible here with, you know, how out of control they've been through the middle of the corner. But we'll see. His attempt is now going, gets to that outside lane. He's there, but now that inside lane gets the advantage going down into the middle of turns 3 and 4. And I mean, really, for the first time, we've seen that outside lane die as a bad shove from Cadell there gets Vargas in the middle line. And now, really, they have no help.
Yeah, but somehow Gary Owen is making that thing work right in the front. And I'm starting to wonder here, Caleb, is it maybe we talked about the kick out on the nose, that's one Garrett Smithley, that first feature race. Is that maybe affecting some of these guys in their ability to push? Because Garrett's right behind Champagne. But with that little bit of a scoop on the Panther nose, I don't know if that's enough to kind of make contact with.
Justin Malillo is going to get sideways. Can he save it? No, he makes contact with Vargas into the wall hard as Justin Malillo.
And guess what car Vargas is driving? He's driving the Panther. He's driving the Panther. No. I think we might have a little bit of a... I don't know if those Panthers can push as well as what the Casinos can with the flat nose. The Casinos, of course, the Monte Carlo-looking cars, but they are not. The Panther, the more Camaro-looking cars, but they are not. And then the Eagle is that Ford Thunderbird-looking car, but it is not. So we take a look at the replay here, and yeah, see, the lid, I think it was just the nose on Vargas, and that's just what got Malillo there. Oh, man. Yeah, it was just the tiniest of contact. That's all it took. And these cars are already on razor's edge from how these tires have been wearing and everything like that. So you lose that ability to catch mistakes and make things happen. And just like that, Corey Vervinck know where he could go. So unfortunately, he might have used his fast repair in that first wreck. He might be out of them here as the field starts to come down pit road. We're going to see who stays out and who comes down to get service. Going to ride on board Vargas here and take a look and see if he did just touch. No, maybe a little bit of a touch, but I think Malillo would have lost it anyway. His car was already out of shape going through the corner there. So unfortunately, Justin Malillo Man, he has not had a good season at all this year, and unfortunately, it continues. He was hoping for a good night tonight, and was hoping to put some numbers on the. But let's see, maybe we can. Zach, can we dial up that driver of the 53? No, we can't. All right, well, I'm getting bad reception. No, we're dragging him out. No, we can't. All right. I thought we.
What happened?
Reception's coming back. Okay, we do have.
What is happening?
Justin Malillo, we sorry, the AT&T decided to kill the call there briefly as we tried to drag you in, but everything okay there, driver?
Nah, man, I think I got whiplash from that one. That one hurt. That one definitely hurt. I don't know if I got hit or if I was just out of control or what, but I was giving it all it had and just lost the rear grip one way or another and hit pretty damn hard in that wall. So these things happen. Well, thank goodness we saved the faster pair, and we'll see if we can do anything here in the last 4 laps on fresh tires. I don't know, just my luck, right?
Well, I was gonna ask. It was something I was speculating a little bit in the booth. The Panther seems like it can't push as well as the car you're in, the Casino. Are the noses lining up, or does it feel like you kind of have a little bit better of a car to push with the front end on that car?
I honestly, I couldn't tell you. It might be lifting like that. The pointier the nose, I've always thought like in the next gen that the Camaro can't push as well. So it could definitely be something like that. You never know, but I'm gonna go out here and probably not make many friends in these last 4 laps here. I'm kind of angry and I want to get back up to the front.
All right, Justin, hang tough out there. We'll see you at the end of this thing, hopefully, and make sure you don't have a concussion, by the way.
Yeah, I'll check that.
Justin Malillo, driver of the 53, as we get the grid reformed, coming around the choose cone, and just like that, Champagne versus Smithley. Cars in field in the hands of Justin Champagne. That 38, green flags back in the air. 4 laps to go. Here we go.
Evasive maneuvers down on the apron already as Champagne and Goen got a little bit sideways. DT wasn't there to give the shove to Garrett Smithley either, so they're disconnected as well. Now DT with the momentum, going to try to get to that back bumper of the 43, deliver a shot to the Richmar Flores machine as they're side by side for the lead. Coming off in turn number 2 is Justin Champagne and Garrett Smithley for the lead.
These two, once again, they can't get away from each other in these features, and it continues once again. Back down to turn number 3. DT all sorts out of shape behind Garrett, trying to give him the biggest push he can. Goodell sneaking up into this battle. I thought he might have saved tires. I think he has, as they all get loose coming out of 4, except that 69 car, and he'll get right almost to the back bumper of DT this time. Keep an eye on that outside line. It looks like they have a little bit more control over the energy right now.
3 laps to go from Kansas. DT still all over the back bumper of Garrett Smithley. They're going to make contact a little further behind. Goen and DT door slamming as they come down the backstretch. It's a battle for who can get to the inside lane, and Goen has not been successful thus far. I think it's going to have to be something from the outside lane with DT and Garrett Smithley, but DT runs up the racetrack and gets disconnected from Smithley as they come off 4.
The question is, there's a little bit of gap. At what point do these drivers throw caution to the wind and stick the nose in? DT thought about it, but all he got was the rear bumper of Garrett Smithley. Not this time. 2 laps to go now, back to turn number 1. DT looking for that middle spot. Gary Owen might try and slice underneath here as they come out of turn number 2. Side by side contact. Ooh, Champagne gets a little bit out of shape here. They're trying to side draft all they can, and it's 6 cars under a blanket. Back to turn 3.
Was that bump enough to give the momentum to the outside lane? They get back to the corner in time for Champagne to recover. He still has Goen all over him, and nobody's able to get this brick wall of these 4 cars that have just been guarding the top 2 lanes. Let's see, across the stripe, that time it was Garrett Smithley at the white flag. Does he lead it as they get into turn 1 one more time around Kansas?
Garrett Smithley trying to go last to first. Can he pull it off? They've made contact every single time they come out of turn 2. Since the restart, there it is again. The first contact. Does DT stick with Garrett Smithley on the top side, or does he try and win it himself? Does Gary Owen stay with Justin Champagne on the bottom, or does he try and win it himself? Back to turns 3 and 4 they go. Cars side by side. Who's going to give a nose? Is anyone going to try and win it? Off turn number 4 they go. Survey says give it to Garrett Smithley. He's got the nose in. He'll win.
a sweep of the night for the Richmar Florist machine in the Richmar Florist 150. Talk about rigged.
Well, I don't know about that, but that was Garrett. Garrett had control out of that entire line, coming out of 3 and 4, and nobody, I think, had the momentum to try and win it on themselves. But he nailed that final corner, and I mean, he's been in photo finishes all night long, and he finally figured out what it took to stall that line out and make it so he was the only car to try and compete at the end there. Champagne tried it, but unfortunately not able to get there. But hey, it's a good night for Richmar Florist because they bring home back-to-back feature wins. And Garrett Smithley going to do some burnouts. What he can of that low gear in the street stock. He's still going to get it sideways and burn it down on the front straightaway.
And really, shout out to everybody who participated tonight to give us a photo finish in 4 out of the 4 races that we had here. So street stocks at Kansas, certainly a move here. And Core, I'd say the Core Summer Series presented by Simrap Market delivered tonight.
We've had a couple bangers in a row here, Caleb. And we're not going to talk about what happened at Slinger, but between Watkins Glen and Kansas, the last couple weeks, this has been fantastic, sir.
Yes, it has, and looking forward to 2 more coming up.
Yep, 2 more races, of course, left on the Summer Series calendar. Kern is going to be August 7th. And then we're going to the Rockingham Speedway on August 14th. Both of those races you can catch here at FTF_GG on Twitch. But with that being said, let's take you through the unofficial results here from Kansas Speedway for the Richmar Florist 150. And of course, the Core Simrap Market Summer Series. Garrett Smithley gets your win here. Justin Champagne going to be second. Davin DT is going to finish third. Gary Owen Goen is going to finish fourth. Wes the Mess 88, Wes Graham is going to finish fifth. Jonathan Cadell is going to finish sixth. Herman Reese, good run for him, finishes seventh. Robert Dorman out of the Alpha Prime stable as well is going to finish eighth. And would you guess it, another Alpha Prime driver, Gabe Wood, going to finish ninth. Justin Malillo, he made his way back up to 10th. Unfortunately, not where I think he wanted to finish. But Case Kallenbach going to finish 11th. Cody Hicken is going to finish 12th. Corey Vervinkt is going to finish 13th. Ryan Vargas is going to finish 14th. And I'm getting last place points, and Fly Guy rounds out the rest of your field. But Caleb, you've made your way down to victory lane. I can see Clint Boyer there. He's spraying beer everywhere. Garrett Smithley out of the car celebrating. There's flowers everywhere down in there in victory lane, and we'll throw it down to you.
Yeah, Garrett, you talked about going last to first. Here we are. What's it feel like to sweep Core, baby?
We did it, baby! Last to first. Get out the broom. You know what sucks? I don't even own a broom.
You don't even own a broom?
You don't
No,
own a broom?
I don't have a broom.
How do you get trash off the floor?
I just pick it up, or
What
I
about dust?
have a vacuum. I don't have a broom.
Do you have hardwood in the house anywhere?
It's pretty much all hardwood.
You vacuum hardwood?
Yeah, there's like a hardwood setting. What are you
Garrett,
talking about?
Garrett, I might need to kick you out of the booth, buddy.
That was the breaking point.
Well, regardless, we got the sweep. We did the last to first challenge. Man, again, just a great freaking race by Justin Champagne. I gotta give a shout out to DT. He pushed me through and through. Vargas kind of bailed on me the first race, and DT just stuck with me the whole time, pushed me there. And Justin, I kind of felt bad for him because there was nothing he could do, but we just had the momentum, and I promise it's not rigged. I mean, I promise. I got Richmar on the car. If it was rigged, Justin Champagne would not be the guy, because he would not have lifted for me for sure, 100%. I feel like Joey Logano when he wins the Pennzoil 400. But anyway, I mean, just a great sweep, great race. Hopefully it was fun for y'all. It seemed like a really good time.
I mean, we had four, like you said, Caleb. We had
4
4
for
out
4.
of 4. Yeah, 4 for 4 photo finishes. So yeah, we were having fun up here.
It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. Now, shout out to everybody that makes this happen. I know DT and Ben and you guys at FTF. I mean, everybody that does this, all of the partners, and I mean, this is this has been my favorite league since I got here. It's fun. It's a good group. We got some Alpha Prime folks. We got just a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life, and in the racing industry, in the iRacing industry, and it's just a darn good time. I mean, that's just all you can say about it.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a journey here watching you from that first core win at Atlanta years ago, and now becoming one of the regulars. Looks like spoiler alert for you, you'll be 7th in points coming out of tonight with 2 rounds left. Do you think you can make a late season surge, maybe a sweep next weekend at Kern too?
Yeah, I know that last week not being here was going to be a detriment. I'm hoping we still get a drop. I think we still get a drop. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we can put together a bunch of these races, Kern makes me a little bit nervous. I don't know if I've ever turned a lap at Kern on iRacing, so or in real life for that matter. So I guess I'm gonna have to learn. But same thing with Slinger, and we got a 2nd place and a heat win at Slinger too. So I'm not super worried about it. I love these street stocks, but absolutely we plan to be contending for this championship with our Richmar Flores Chevrolet.
Well, he sweeps the night. That's going to be Garrett Smithley. Thanks for taking the time with us, and congratulations on your 2 wins tonight.
Thanks, y'all.
And we will be seeing you. We'll go back to you, Cisco.
Yeah, caught up on pit road here with drive-through DT, who finishes 3rd, it looks like, on the standings here. And we're promising it's not rigged tonight, Davin, because the Richmar car won the Richmar event, both features. But nonetheless, it looks like that hood that you borrowed, quote unquote, seemed to help you out there.
Yeah, and I think for once we'll be able to keep it on the car for next week because we finished cleanly. If I'd have known Gary was gonna kind of stuff it in the middle there, maybe I could have gone 4 wide to the line, and that would have been cool. But I just wanted a good finish. Unfortunately, I got wrecked out of that first race. I wanted a good finish. It was cool pushing Garrett. I tried making some moves on him earlier in the race. I think I spent that whole race pushing Garrett in some form or another. And I don't know. There's no real run to get at the end. I'm really happy to be in 3rd and get to talk to you guys after the race, though.
You talked a little bit about the draft wasn't as strong as maybe you would think it was, but we still managed to get some good runs out of the car and everything. What was there sort of a line that you had to take, or a way you had to gear up the car to get a run necessarily, or was it just down to momentum at that point?
Yeah, I think it's just a low power car, and you can get a pretty good run, but there's just not a huge differential. And if you back it up, you can get a good amount of speed. But obviously, when we're packed in there, if you're the 2nd guy in line, I had Malillo all over my rear bumper for most of the race, so there's no real way I could back up and make a run to get around him. And basically, the only way I think I could have passed is if I'd stuffed it into turn 1 on the apron, which I considered but didn't do.
Well, good run nonetheless. You finish in the bronze medal position here, since we are still on the Olympic break, but we head to Kern next week. So my first question for you is, we're on the normal layout of Kern, right? We're not doing the mini oval?
Yeah, that would be insanity.
But looking forward to that, and of course a newer track on this side. What are you looking forward to, kind of going back to the short track a little bit here?
I've felt really good this season, and I've had some of the best results I've ever had in core. Maybe because a lot of the pro guys aren't showing up, which I'm kind of happy about. But the Big Fan Esports TrimPub.cool casino has been pretty fast. I feel like we had race winning pace at Watkins Glen, but just didn't work it out. And I felt pretty fast at the short track when we went to Slinger, but Kern's a whole new monster. But yeah, feeling good about the car.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to keep it happy at Happy Harvick's Kern Raceway. Nonetheless, we'll see you next week, DT. Thanks.
Always happy here in core.
Always happy. That's the happiest league owner I think that exists there, Caleb, as we pass DT out. I think he's the happiest guy maybe in iRacing, actually, for that matter.
Yeah, and I mean, either way, I mean, he has a reason to be happy up inside the thick of this points battle. And really, I looking forward to the last 2 weeks of the season for sure. We're gonna have a heck of a battle. I will say I'm really, really shocked right now. We'll get a graphic up for you here momentarily, but
we
points
are
battle,
stammering for a reason, by the way. We are stammering, trying to see.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my life and the broadcast life, but we're getting it. But should have a drop week here. Yeah, this is going to be before our drop, but you see Justin Champagne here. Gabe Wood is somehow second in points right now, so my apologies, Gabe.
For that.
I was not familiar with your game. Up here, second in points, but Cadell here as well. Vargas going. Then you'll have DT, Garrett Smithley, Partis, Brennan Poole, Robert Dorman, your top 10. Again, this is before the drop, so that will be incorporated in as we get into like next week. But it's going to be a really close points battle here. Champagne, though, has been just class of the field all season long.
I do have a separate graphic that does have with the drop factored in that Davin was able to sneak us here looking briefly. That does drop the gap. It does drop Gabe from second, unfortunately, down to fourth. And Garrett actually moves up into second. He's about 25 points behind Justin going into current. So that'll be interesting to see how that shakes up. And hopefully I'll be able to get myself back up the points table a little bit. In the Davin one, for what it's worth, I'm still 10th. So that actually I might manage a top 10 points finish. Well, I jinxed it now, so I'm not going to, but I'd like to manage a top 10 points finish. But nonetheless, Caleb, final thoughts here from Kansas Speedway, the home of Clint Boyer and the home of some really great street stock racing tonight.
I mean, what other thoughts are there to have than to just be appreciative of the 4 banger races that we just watched? Again, all photo finishes and all side by side, 3 wide for the lead basically the entire time. And again, just really appreciative and so grateful. And I'm so happy that I come away with this feeling every time that a core race finishes, where I'm just, again, so incredibly appreciative of everybody that shows up every Wednesday night to make this league happen, because it is by far the best league on the service. We show up wherever every Wednesday night at a 7 or 8 p.m. and just have a blast for, an hour, 45 minutes straight. And again, it's my pleasure to be up here and call these races every week and watch along with you guys because, again, best racing you'll find anywhere on this service.
Well, hopefully you'll have Blake back next week and I can get back behind the wheel and you two can have fun watching the rest of this season. But that's going to do it for us here on FTF for coverage of Core Summer Series action here tonight. Of course, we do want to say thank you to everybody who makes this series happen. All our partners, FTF.GG, Messer Media, Gabe Wood. Hey, by the way, he paid for this. Richmar Florist and SimRapMarket.com. Thank you so much for supporting this series and letting us be able to come out and put on a show here for all y'all tuning in. And just as we're wrapping up the broadcast, Caleb, Travis finally got his credentials approved to get in. Unfortunately, though, Travis, you're going to be driving the truck to clean up all the concessions. So sorry about that. But nonetheless, thank you so much for joining us here today from Kansas Speedway. That's been Caleb Hoffman. I've been Cisco Scarmoza saying keep it off the wall. And until we meet again, we'll see you on the track. Take care.